Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm at Productronica 2013 and I'm joined by Ken Forden from Nordson EFD. Ken, thanks for stopping by to chat. Start by telling me what Nordson EFD have brought new to this show.
Well, new to this show really is we just launched a new product called the PICO xMOD, and it's really trying to go to a much more modular design in our piezo stack jet valve. And what we were hearing from the marketplace and customers is the need for better and better productivity. And no matter how good your valve is, you're going to have to take it off and clean it. By going to more of a modular design, we've been able to reduce that cleaning time down to a couple of minutes from something that could take 20 to 40 depending on if you had to recalibrate your machine. And in being modular, if you had to change materials and you needed a heating element, you can modularly add the heating element at a later date. So again, trying to go for a modular approach to give the customer just what they needed and allow them to have a lot better maintenance costs in the end.
Okay, and that's used offline or that's used online? In terms of production? Sorry, when you're using the valve, is that
Right.
used in the production line or is it an offline process?
It's typically used in the production line.
Okay.
But it's part of a bigger machine.
Yeah.
Typically, we're just selling the valve and the controller in most cases.
Yeah. So the changeover time does become really, really important there.
Right.
Because you're holding up the line. And is that something that demand that you talked about, is that coming from a particular end user market, maybe medical or automotive? Or?
We see a lot of it in the electronics industry in and of itself. The need for very precise dispensing in smaller and smaller doses.
Right.
So, our xMOD product can do 1 nanoliter deposit size. So that small, be able to do it repeatedly and at a high rate, 500 hertz, delivers a tremendous amount of benefit and productivity. And so if you think about it from their perspective, machine time, the ability to make, put more dots down in a quicker area, one of the biggest areas that we felt we could bring additional productivity was to reduce the time of cleaning and maintaining those by making a modular. And it gave us some benefits as well if you wanted to change out the faceplate to go to a different size orifice to change your dot size.
Right.
It was much easier to do that way versus having to change out an entire valve.
Yeah. And the stuff that's being dispensed, is that changing? Are there new applications in terms of dispensing?
I think there are some new applications in terms of but it's really being driven by the fluid formulators, right? They continue to push the envelope to try to get more efficient systems.
Okay.
And again, there are a lot of industry trends relative to 1 component, 2 components that we continue to watch, but those are really driven by the fluid formulators trying to get more efficient.
Okay, and in terms of the market here in Germany, what are you seeing in terms of market demand? What's 13 been like and how does 2014 look?
Yeah, so 13 for us, because many of our major customers in this space tend to be machine builders, right?
Yeah.
The German machine builders are the best in the world. And their business, and then our business with them was down in 13, and I just think that's relative to the overall global economy and the uncertainty. We're cautiously optimistic in 14. We think that there are a lot of trends working towards a better market in Germany, but it's not really clear today, sitting here, that we're going to be up 4 or 5%, in the marketplace. So I think it's something to watch, but we're, I guess, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, my sense is the trough's been long enough that people have just got tired of it or have left their purchase decisions for so long they now need to do something about it. So there's maybe some uptick because of that.
Yeah, a lot of it is, and you really can't blame businesses, right? With the uncertainty in that economy, your willingness to make investments in new capital, you're going to step back a little bit and really be sure. And I think that's going to, in the long run, be good because you're going to get some built-up demand. So when it does break free, we should all feel really good on the other side of that.
Yeah, as long as we don't have too much of too many peaks and troughs.
That's right.
What about other markets? We're seeing. People are calling it reshoring, right-shoring, those trends, moving stuff perhaps back from Asia to some other economies. And Mexico seems to be one of the areas that's benefiting from that. What are you seeing globally in terms of shift?
So we actually have seen significant movement back and growth into the Mexican market for EFD. We continue to expect to see that. The labor costs in Asia, which is one of the big drivers for moving things over there, it's gone up quite significantly, and the rate that it's going up is significant as well. We are clearly seeing people moving from China into Southeast Asia, That trend is clearly there. Tons of investment going in there. But we have this last year begun to see things move into South America, and particularly Mexico has been a strong place.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right with the labor rates. We saw some figures that said that 5 years ago the labor rates in Mexico were double China. But China had gone up 5 years at 20%. Mexico had gone up 5 years at 2%.
Yeah, and I think the other part is automation. And the ability to automate some of these very precise manufacturing techniques has been critical. We're always going to have human involvement, the human element, but as things get smaller and smaller, the need to miniaturize, it just gets to the point where the human being isn't capable.
Yeah.
And so that's playing into, I think, a lot of what's going on, because the minute you begin to automate, that labor cost as a percentage of the overall cost drops.
Comes down. Yeah.
You can move it closer to home, and logistics, are becoming expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other factor that I think we're seeing coming in, and certainly in some of the consumer markets, is mass customization. The idea that as a consumer you can order online, you can order a particular color package, a particular specification, and that's fulfilled directly to you. So they need to be pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things you got to love about the electronics industry is it sees tons of change, right? If you look at the companies 5 years ago that were really successful in that space, many of them are different today.
Yeah.
And it's put tremendous pressure on, I think, us as suppliers to that industry to be able to continue to innovate, continue to meet their needs for better and better performance, more and more reliability. And it's actually, I would argue, a benefit to a company like Nordson EFD, because we do focus on the whole service quality aspect of our product as really our key differentiator.
Yeah, and to Nordson generally, I guess, with the product offering you've got across the different platforms. And that kind of speaks a little bit to what we're hearing here about this joined up approach of Industry 4.0, as they call it here. Having smart machines and in smart lines, creating this smarter supply chain. Is that something that resonates with what you're doing and how the machines your valves are in are communicating?
So I think for Nordson EFD, we still have a lot of customers in the world today that use a toothpick, right? Yeah. And we love those customers. They're moving, into the next level of dispensing, which is really using a syringe, to control where they dispense it and the amount of dispense, right? There's a cost savings for them. As their business grows, right, and gets more and more larger for them on a volume basis, they need to automate that, and we can kind of take them from the toothpick all the way up to a tabletop machine. And the beauty of Nordson, once that tabletop machine and the need for further automation and a system to really get to the level of performance you're talking about, there's a Nordson Asymtech business there that can really make some smart machines for you.
Yeah, that's excellent. Well, thanks very much for your time. Thanks for stopping by. I hope that optimism is founded, and I look forward to checking up with you on that in the future.
We appreciate it. We're very excited. This is our 50th anniversary this year, Nordson EFD, so we're looking forward to another 50.
Okay, happy birthday.
All right,
very much.
Thank you.